Alright, so look, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Because with that absolute masterclass of a performance put on by Bobby Knuckles last weekend in Saudi Arabia, it kind of got me thinking. Hypothetically, how would the fight have played out if Khamzat never fell ill? Who would have won? Khamzat Chimaev or Robert the Reaper Whittaker? And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, last weekend we saw Robert the Reaper Whittaker deliver an absolute masterclass of a performance in Saudi Arabia with a stunning first round knockout over Chimeav. Whittaker started with a right cross that disrupted Aliskerov's equilibrium, followed with a 1-2 head kick that narrowly missed, and then finished it off with a beautiful uppercut to end the fight. It was a brilliant display from Robert Whittaker, though both fighters put on a super stellar performance. Both Robert Whittaker and Chimeav were both in training camps to fight different opponents when they got the call to step in on 1.5 weeks notice to fight each other. And in a blink of an eye, they were both put under highly complex situations, with on one hand the uncertainty of what Aliskerov had prepared for Robert Whittaker coming into this fight, and then on the other hand Aliskerov stepping in on short notice to fight the third best middleweight of all time. Bobby Knuckles showed that there are absolute levels to this game, looking fantastic in his recent outings. And I know there's been a lot of talk in the MMA community about maybe a Strickland versus Bobby Knuckles fight in the near future, but that's where I have to kind of disagree. I think that both Strickland and Bobby Knuckles are both deserving of a title shot, with both of them coming off of super big wins over the 7th ranked Paulo Costa. But for the question at hand, how would have the fight between Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev have played out? After Robert Whittaker's fight with Aliskerov, Khamzat Chimaev tweeted saying, "Congratulations, Robert Whittaker. We are not done. Wishing you a speedy recovery, Ikram Aliskerov." This shows that Khamzat Chimaev still wants this fight, which the entire MMA community has been eagerly waiting for. Predicting the outcome of a Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev fight is particularly challenging because we don't know which version of Khamzat Chimaev would show up on the day of the fight. For example, let's look at his fight against Gilbert Burns, where Khamzat Chimaev came into that fight looking extremely slow, sluggish, and absolutely drained, and was probably unable to implement his game plan effectively. However, against Kevin Holland, he looked extremely strong, sharp, and absolutely overwhelming, leaving Kevin Holland a world-class fighter with absolutely zero answers. Not to mention his fight with Kamaru Usman, a fight that I, in my opinion, think is extremely underrated, still showed that he has significant gaps in his game, making him an extremely situational fighter. And then, as for Robert Whittaker, his current form kind of raises some questions. While he had a flawless win against Ikram Aliskerov, Aliskerov was a newcomer to the UFC with only 2 fights on his resume and came in on short notice. Before that, Robert Whittaker had a 3-round war with Paulo Costa, which was exceptional, but prior to that, he was TKO'd by Dricus du Plessis, the current middleweight champion. The point is Robert Whittaker's overall game still good enough to beat a top contender like Khamzat Bors? Personally speaking though, I know when this fight was first announced, I made a video basically saying that this was going to be a very, very tough fight for Khamzat Bors. Taking into account that at the time, I thought that out of the entire middleweight division, both Robert Whittaker and then maybe Dricus du Plessis would be Khamzat's hardest matchups, with them being super big and heavy middleweights with grade A elite level striking pedigrees and exceptional ground games. But then after further examination and tape review, I came to the conclusion that 9 times out of 10, Khamzat would do everything and anything in his power to find that submission during the first round against Robert Whittaker. But if not, taking into account that Bobby Knuckles is extremely chinny, Khamzat would have found Bobby's chin, finding the KO or TKO. And I high-key still stand on that take, though I'm a lot less confident in it, taking into account that Khamzat will be coming off of a very serious illness, but that still doesn't change the fact that he's one of the best grapplers in the UFC today. Just like in the Usman fight, if Khamzat gets his hands on you, you gotta do your best to get out of there quick, or it can spell out doom for you in the long run. But let's just say that Robert completely expels Khamzat's ground offense. Khamzat's hands are extremely crisp and underrated. He's obviously worse in the striking department in comparison to Robert Whittaker, but he's got a super stiff jab and a nasty right hook that I think, if landed correctly, could have found the chin of Bobby Knuckles in the long run. But to basically sum everything up, a fight between Bobby Knuckles and Khamzat Borz would have been incredibly intriguing and kind of difficult to predict. Both fighters have shown their incredible skills and capabilities, but their recent performances and circumstances add layers of uncertainty. Bobby Knuckles' striking and overall game would have been tested against Khamzat Borz's grappling and type of situational prowess. This matchup, if it came to fruition, would have undoubtedly been one of the most anticipated and talked about fights in the MMA community. But that's all I've got to say. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think would have been the outcome of the highly anticipated Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev fight? But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.